Hey guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do a review of The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. And here is a picture of Jessie Burton. Alright, now this book takes place 17th century Amsterdam, I think exactly 1686 or something like that. The main character is Petronella Ortman, I think is her name. And so she's called Nella in the book. And the other main character is her husband, Johannes Brandt. Johannes Brandt is a very wealthy merchant, and he is in the VOC. He has just married Nella, and Nella has arrived in the family household, and unfortunately Johannes is not there to meet her. She is greeted by Johannes's sister Maren, who is quite a not so friendly, very demanding kind of person, and she is basically running the household with two servants that are helping her. Cordelia, I think her name is the maid, and there is Otto, and Otto is a Surinamese black man who was a slave, who was like freed by Johannes and is like Johannes's manservant. This book, you know, it's hard to talk about without giving things away, but basically what happens to start the story: Nella arrives, her husband isn't there, she's feeling very much left out, doesn't really know where she fits into in the scheme of things. And finally Johannes comes the day after. They barely see each other, barely know anything about each other, and he then presents her with the gift of a dollhouse, which is very similar to what you see here. Let's see, I think there's also a picture in the beginning. It's what you see here, right here. And basically he presents her with the dollhouse, and it's empty, and he leaves her, gives her this enormous amount of money for her to go and spend money decorating this dollhouse to resemble the house that they're living in. Now, Nella is not really overwhelmed or thrilled about this gift. She finds this gift a bit frivolous and not exactly what she had in mind, because she's looking forward to being a wife and you know, maybe eventually a mother, and you know, taking care of a household. And there she is with this frivolousness of buying objects for a house. So what she does is she goes out, she contracts a miniaturist, and from there she orders different items to go in the house. But what happens is she gets those items, and she gets supplementary items which are left for her for this dollhouse that she hasn't ordered. But all of the items fit into the house perfectly because they are similar to what is happening to her at the very moment. So that's all I'm going to tell you about the plot. Now let's get into really what was great about the book. Now, what was great about the book was the writing. The writing was very, very descriptive, very beautifully written. Apparently Jessie Burton read her novel out loud 5 times fully to hear how the novel flowed, and changed things accordingly so that they would flow better. Now, the things that go wrong in the book are that the book you think is about the miniaturist, and in fact it's not. The miniaturist is more like a, I would say, magical realism device that is there to link all of the characters together in the story. So the miniaturist, you don't know that much about the miniaturist. You don't know why, when, where. None of this do you really know. But the storyline continues on. Now, another thing that is not so great about this is that it talks about having lots of compelling cast. Okay, the compelling cast, yeah, they were a bit compelling. Gripping plot, no. For me personally, it wasn't a gripping plot. There's some twists and turns along the way, but 2 of them I had already figured out. The storyline of some of the main characters has a tendency to be more of a 21st plot type novel, but that has been set in the 17th century. So sometimes Nella has reactions to things that I personally thought were more 21st century reactions than they were 17th century reactions. There were things, Nella grew up really fast in this story, because you have to keep in mind Nella is a simple girl from the country. She's not a city girl. But she puts on her big girl britches quite a bit in this novel, to the point where I thought this is not very realistic. Another thing that I had a problem with, other than the miniaturist and the fact that some of the things were reactions were 21st century, was the ending. Now, I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end, but for me, the ending was like... And you know how I hate endings that do that. So when I finished the book, I had to then rush back and reread the first chapter so that things would be more clear. But even then, I was still like... So yeah. So that's why I had some difficulty rating this one 3 or 2.5. I went back and forth and back and forth. I decided to go with 3 stars because it is a novel that I can see a lot of people enjoying reading. And the writing is beautiful, and this is a debut novel, and for a debut novel, this is pretty good for a debut novel. It is not, in my opinion, 4 or 5 stars. It's not that fantastic. It has a lot of things wrong with it that people will find hard to swallow as believable in the book. But other than that, if you're looking for something to read that's a little different and has a different type of setting, because that's what's really nice about this, is the setting. And it is a chunker though. It's 400 pages. And I did find some bits to be slow. But I would still say, if you're looking for something a little different, I would say pick it up. You might enjoy it more than I did. That's all I have for you today.